just wanna elevate your mind.
Welcome.
Meditate and shine.
Revamping the energy of home.
Elevate your mind.
Sanctuary.
Elevate your mind.
Just turn up the music
Open
for
up
now.
your.
So, what is revamping the energy of your home, right? So when I created this, when I got this idea for this workshop, I just wanted to give back something to the interior design industry, especially right now as we're experiencing a lot of different things in the world, and we spend a lot of time in our homes in the last almost 3 years, and we're seeing things a lot differently now. And I just really started to think about home differently, so spending more time there, and the perspective around home has shifted. It's a lot of reflecting made me think about, like, how are we showing up in our homes? How are our homes showing up for us? How are they supporting us? And when I thought about true sanctuary, I was thinking about how my clients, I've had a few clients who use sanctuary as the word to describe what they want their homes to feel. And with that, I was really inspired to think about, okay, what does that even mean? What does that mean for you? What does that mean for me? And what does that involve? What does that include? Right? So that's basically what I was starting to think about. And I was feeling called to create a workshop to explain what I started to see. And, I hope that you guys will be able to see kind of where I'm going with this. So these are the topics that we're going to be covering. Defining true sanctuary, just like I was saying, what does it mean for you? And what does that look like? But we're also going to be going over what the dictionary definition of sanctuary means. So maybe we can find some key elements from both and somehow be able to bring it all together and create and really have like a real clear understanding of when we use this word, what that holds for you. Then next we'll also be going over the energetics of home. So the energetics of home are how we feel about home, how do we interact with the home, and how overall, how when people come over to this space, what are they feeling? What are they getting from this space? And what do you want it to? You get to create like how you want it to feel for yourself and for others. Then next we're going to go to clarifying the vision. So clarifying the vision is like really understanding the vision that you have in your mind. What is it that you want your space to look like? And we're going to bring all these things together to bridge the gap. So the topics that we're going to be talking about at the end, we're going to be able to bring all the elements together and start bridging the gap and figuring out how we can make this work for us. So what I do ask is that you please keep any questions to the end. Since this is a replay, but for the replay, we probably won't get any of the questions, but I will recite the questions that we did have yesterday. So before I start, just like I did before, I would like to take 3 mindful breaths. So if you're rewatching this, definitely do this before you continue with the video. It's a great way to clear the energy and also to allow you to be open to receiving the perspective that I'm sharing with you. So I would like for you to just clear any expectations that you have about what you think that this workshop is going to be about. I want you to come into this with a fresh mind and an open heart. So 3 mindful breaths. So 1 breath, I'm going to take a deep breath in and out. And again, and out. And on this last breath, I want you to just do a hard sigh, like, so a deep breath in. Okay. So what was the whole purpose of this workshop? The purpose is, and will always be, I want to help women and mothers create true sanctuary for themselves, for their families, and for the inner child. it's really, really important that we connect to our inner child when we're doing things in life. The reason why I say that is because our inner child tends to show up in the things that we do in unexpected ways if we're not aware. And our inner child can cause blocks. And that's usually because certain things are coming up for us that are scary, right? Like, and that inner child is just like, hey, like tugging, like, hey, I don't know about that. And it's just a really good idea, like, to think of it like as a child and just be like, you know what, I got this now. You know, I can figure this out. We can figure this out. And for our families, especially as mothers, it's really a good idea to keep your kids in mind when you're creating a home for them. What is home going to be for them? What is the spaces that? How do you want them to feel about the spaces that they call home, like the childhood home and any other home that they interact with during their childhood, teenage years, and so on and so forth. So, my overall intention is that you receive exactly what you came here for. I want you to receive clarity around your vision of sanctuary and to feel at ease and empowered in your journey. Expect to be able to make it a reality for yourself. And the only way that you're going to be able to create the dreams, the visions, is that you have like actual clarity around what that looks like and what that involves. So before I go in to anything else, I want to let you know a little bit about me. So this is my first workshop, and I'm so excited to be hosting this and sharing space with you. So I am from the Bronx, New York, born and raised. I've lived there for 18 years. When I graduated high school, I went to the High School of Fashion Industries in Manhattan. I moved to Bridgeport, Connecticut, where I've been ever since. So since 2009, I've been up here in Bridgeport, not too far away from New York. Um, so I actually came into interior design kind of a weird way, but I always say like I think that I came to interior design to learn something new about the home. Growing up in New York, you know, we were very much in this mindset of like home is where you go to sleep, you hold that's where your bed was, that's where you know your possessions were. But we had a really hard time, or at least that's what I noticed, and I had a hard time really actually settling into what home was. It was supposed to be, you know, it wasn't clear what home was supposed to be growing up, and therefore I didn't feel like I belonged. I didn't really feel like I resonated with what I was seeing home to be. Um, so that's another reason why I really felt called to create a workshop like this. I want us to really just be able to like sit with what we thought home was supposed to be when we were younger, what we're seeing now, and maybe bringing those two together and creating something that feels good for us and for our descendants. So I also consider myself a creator, a visionary, an artist, a truth seeker and a truth speaker, a cycle breaker, and a foundation builder. So, what do I mean by a cycle breaker and foundation builder? Every day, we're breaking cycles from the generations before us, our ancestors, our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents, right? So, in doing so, we are also creating new foundations for ourselves. So sometimes we have to go back and think about like, is this still good for me? And as we're building a new world for ourselves, a new life for ourselves and for our kids, we keep that in mind and tweak things and fill the gaps, right? So I'm an interior designer by trade, but I consider myself an artist by life. Ever since I was a kid, I was always creating, I was painting, drawing, sketching. I went to high school and I majored in art, graphic design, illustration. Um, I'm also a mother of two beautiful babies. I have a 7-month-old and a 7-year-old. I'm a wife to a loving husband who's taking care of my babies right now while I'm here with you guys. I'm a daughter. Um, I'm supported by my parents. My dad is always telling me to do great things, right? I'm a friend to a few people, but I'm very, very grateful for all the people I've had the honor of calling my friends. They've been very supportive, especially now. And as you can see, I put my sun, moon, and rising. So I am a Taurus sun, Capricorn moon, and a Gemini rising. So since I had to re-record this, I just wanted to let you guys know that we had a Pisces, we had a Sagittarius, and we had two Aries, which is really cool um, to see that you guys do know a little bit about your astrology. I love astrology. I would actually call myself an astrologer, um, maybe an amateur astrologer, but I'm getting there. So, creating true sanctuary. To me, I feel like it requires being connected to your innermost desires in order to receive clarity on what your spirit needs. It's always going back to what you really need. Sanctuary is different for everybody. What I personally need in my sanctuary, I need time to just be in my own energy, to relax and just do nothing if I want to. You know what I'm saying? So I came up with this quote. Our surroundings are beautiful metaphors delivered from our subconscious, and it's true. Like our subconscious really it paints a picture for us. Our subconscious is trying to give us really important information about who we are at our core, and if we're not aware, we'll miss the signs. So it's just really a good idea to just kind of like sit down and be like, okay, why is this happening? Why do I feel like this? What am I realizing about that? What am I realizing about my space that I didn't really see a year ago, a week ago, right? So defining true sanctuary, what does that mean to you? For me, sanctuary means solitude. I need a space of solitude, feel free to just breathe. And yesterday, a few people were talking about how sanctuary for them means to feel at ease, right? To feel at peace. I saw that twice. And also in flow, no restrictions, no resistance. Those are really powerful words. So, what does it mean for you? I want you to write that down and just keep that in mind as we're going through the rest of the workshop because it's really going to help you put everything together and just see things with new, fresh eyes. So the dictionary definition, I found four different definitions of what sanctuary is. So sanctuary is a place where someone or something is protected or given shelter. It's the protection that is provided by a safe place. It's also a place of refuge where the process of law cannot be executed and a sacred or holy place. So I thought that the third definition was very powerful. I actually was reading a book, The Awakened Family, and what she said about sanctuary in the quote I'm going to show in the next slide um, very much relates to that, the process of the law. So when you think of the process of the law in our homes, what is that? It's the rules, it's the things that you can and can't do, right? So keep that in mind. So many parents are puzzled when their children seclude themselves in their room and refuse to leave their sanctuary. So just like the definition, the process of law, those rules don't apply. They don't apply when they're in their favorite spaces, like their bedroom. When you're having like a disagreement with their parents and they're just like, oh, you can't do that, you can't do this. You don't want to hear that in your space. Like I know, like for me, when I was a kid, my sanctuary was my bedroom. I loved being in my bedroom. I was able to do what I needed to do or wanted to do, and nobody would really bother me. I'm an only child too, so that's another thing. But it was my sanctuary. I was able to just be, you know, after everything, I could just be there, be myself, and just, you know, be free from the rules to an extent. The energetics of home. So the energetics of home are the ways we interact with and identify with the spaces and places we call home. So like I told you, I'm from the Bronx. And honestly, right now, I still consider the Bronx. That's my hometown. That's where I grew up. It is home for me, and it's a really it's complicated. You know, while I love it, I can't imagine right now raising two kids, being in New York right now, being in the Bronx. You know, it's bittersweet, but you know, growing up there did shape how I started to see home. So I'll always be grateful for that. So what is home, right? What is home to you? For me, for home, home is where the heart is. It's where my family is, the people that I love, the things that I love, even. It's where I feel the most at ease, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, having grown up in the Bronx, even though I still call it home, I can't really connect with that part physically right now. But the essence, it's still home. The energy of the being in the Bronx is still home for me. So I actually found this definition of home that really struck me, made me think like, wow, a place where one lives permanently. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never lived in one place. I've moved, I want to say about 5 times in my whole life, and I probably will move a couple more times. So it started making me think like, where is the place that we live permanently, right? Our bodies. Our bodies are our permanent home. And therefore we need to keep that in mind when we're building our these physical representations of home to still be connected to who we are in our bodies. What do we need above all else? What do we need? What do we want? How do we care for ourselves? What is the support that we need in order to move forward in the world, to be able to do things in the world? So, another quote from this amazing book, I really love it and I would really recommend it to anybody, especially parents, but I would even recommend it to people who are doing inner child work right now and reparenting themselves and coming home to themselves. It's a lot of really powerful um, lessons in this book. So, although on the surface everything changes, the whole is connected to an abiding foundation that lies beneath it. So, the foundation holds everything, right? The foundation is supposed to be solid so you can build upon. So when creating a home for ourselves or by ourselves or with another person, our insecurities can show up before our personality does. And this is especially true because, like, I remember when I had my first space, my first apartment. I had my first apartment in 2012. And then 2 years later, me and my husband, who was my boyfriend back then, we found out that we were pregnant, and we had he moved in with me right before we had our son, and us trying to figure out what is home for us, trying to merge our ideas of what home is, so we will both feel comfortable. It was really hard, and our insecurities definitely showed up. Um, as we try to figure out, like, I don't feel comfortable with this. It's different. Like before, he was coming by and spending time with me, but it's different to live with somebody, to be able to merge together these ideas of what home is supposed to be that allows you to both feel comfortable. And also, closed off energy creates an atmosphere of tension and friction, and creativity cannot flow within that. It's so true. If you're trying to create something, you can't force it. It can't be forced. If you're not open to what is being asked of you, then you're just going to keep hitting blocks. It's going to be block after block, and you have to just figure out, like, why is there tension? Why is there friction? What is in the way right now? So I know that there's a lot of clients these days, especially, a lot of people don't feel like they're able to hire a designer for their spaces, which is perfectly fine. But I would like to keep in mind that if you're going to be DIYing, doing it yourself, that you think about the energy behind it. Think about it. It's like you just don't want to spend the money to ask for help, Or do you actually enjoy doing it? If you don't enjoy it, then it's not going to have the same energy as I want to ask for help right now, right? So doing it yourself will allow you to be in the thick of it. Will allow you to figure out things on your own. And maybe you need that challenge. Maybe you need to learn something about yourself. Like, I can do hard things. I can problem solve. I can be creative. Like, those are great things. And again, the energy behind why you're doing it yourself is an important marker of self development. So, for whatever reason you chose to do it yourself, whether it be by choice or by restriction or limitations, there's something to learn about that, and it's something to keep in mind. Creating a home for yourself involves the lifestyle you subscribe to. And it's true, because if you say that, this is what I want home to look like, okay, well, are you ready to have that lifestyle that comes with it? Are you able, is your home going to be reflective of the lifestyle you want? Is it going to truly be able to support you in the ways that you need? You have to keep that in mind when you're buying things and including things into this space. Your home is a sacred space. And if you're not aware, if you're not conscious of what's going on, then you're creating a lifestyle that might not be for you. I actually found this graphic about the hierarchy of needs. So our basic human needs, what we need in order to thrive, in order for us to feel self-actualized. The foundation, again, the foundation is our physiological foundation. That's where it all begins. And from there you build, right? So you start with the physical needs. What do you need? You need to be able to breathe. You need food. You need water. You need sleep. You need to, excrete, and sex, right? These are things that we need as humans. And then the next part is feeling safe in our bodies, feeling safe with our resources, our employment, with our family, our property, our health. And the next is feeling like you belong through friendship, through intimacy with your family. And then again, next thing, your self esteem, feeling confident, being respected, feeling respected, giving respect to others, respecting yourself. And the last, the tip top, is self actualization. So feeling creative, spontaneous, um, being able to problem solve, having morality. These are all things that we're working towards, but we can't forget the foundation. So, on that note, I did find a more updated one, which I thought was really cool because it still has the basic foundation, but is expanded a little bit more. So at the base, you still have your safety needs, your biological and physiological needs. Those are the base. That's what creates the foundation. And then you have your belonging, your self-esteem, and then your cognitive needs, like your self-awareness, your meaning, the meaning of life, right? Knowledge. And then that's when we hit the aesthetics, the things that you need. So that's like to make things beautiful, right? Like interior design, like decorating. That doesn't even come into play until you have all these other things in place. And a lot of times we forget about that. So like sometimes the foundation is not stable, but we continue to build. And sometimes it's okay, it's okay to go backwards and go forward sometimes, to start, maybe you're starting at safety and you're gonna go back and figure out the physiological needs. Like, do you have the things that you need? Like, how can you have, decor, but you're cold, right? If you're feeling cold and you don't feel safe, but at least it's nice and pretty, right? No, you can't do that. And what I really thought was great about this particular graphic is that not only are you looking towards self-actualization, personal growth, but you want to transcend and be able to help others to self-actualize. So home is multi-layered. So you start with the foundation again. It's what holds the weight of home. And then you move on to the framework. So think about it. When you see a house being built, after the foundation is poured in solid, then you see the frame, the 2x4s, the wood structures. It's the structure of the home which provides seclusion and communal opportunities. So just think about a house being framed out. Like you have the layout, you have the blueprint. Like this is how we're going to be interacting with this space. And after you have the framework down, then you can start putting the insulation in. It's what keeps the warmth, the love, right? It keeps the warmth in and allows for all to feel comfortable and at ease. But you can't get that if the foundation is not solid and the framework is not stable. And last but not least is the roof, right? After you do those, you start to build the roof. We're not even at the drywall. So the roof is to protect the inhabitants from external weather. So like right now, a perfect example, we're dealing with a lot of conflict outside of the home. You might be dealing with some stuff inside the home too, but you know, the home is supposed to allow you to come together and to weather the storms externally, together as a household, together as a family. And because home is multi-layered, we haven't even reached the aesthetics yet. We haven't even started putting the paint on the walls. We don't even have the drywall up yet. We can't paint anything. We can't put a rug down yet. We can't do any of that stuff because you have to make sure that everything that is foundational, um, fundamental, is taken care of. Dressing up a failing structure will not allow it to stand longer. It won't fix the leaky roof or the rotting framework. Almost multi-layered, and it can be complicated. Well, the spaces and places we call home are connected to our current place of residence and rooted in our childhood homes. So, like I was telling you about growing up in the Bronx, you know, I still call it home, and where I currently live is, my home as well. And my definition of home are connected to both ideas. And from my childhood and my current residence, like my childhood started helping me to build my current residence to start to feel like home. I kept it in mind, and even subconsciously, I started to build from that particular ideal of home, and also what I grew to understand of home now as an adult. So I have some journal prompts to help us to really anchor in, like, what is it that we need to feel safe, secure, and stable, truly. So you can take a screenshot of this if you'd like, so you can journal later on. Take your time with it. So how would you describe your home as it is right now? What space in your home do you want to rekindle the flame? How do you feel when you wake up in your home? Where do you currently go to experience sanctuary in your home? In what ways can you bring that energy to the rest of your home? It's really important to think about these things because if you want to feel like you're in a sanctuary, you have to understand what that actually feels like in your body so that you can start to see how you can experience it in your physical spaces. So before we go on, I would like for us to take 3 mindful deep breaths, and you can follow the circle to get the expansion of your belly. Right? So now we can do it again once it starts. So I'm going to take a deep breath in and out. There's a lot to take in, so I just wanted to make sure we take a moment to just really let that come in. And I'm going to move on to clarifying the vision, our desires and our wants, and join in indulging in the beauty of what is available to you. So when you think about your desires and your wants, it's just like that in your belly. You're like, ooh, I would love to have that. Like, I want to feel softness, right? I want to feel like if I had like a fur throw, right? Feel nice and cozy. Um, or like right now, I'm wearing my fuzzy slippers. They feel nice and cozy on me. That's a desire. That's a want that I have. So I'm gonna do a visualization practice. I'm gonna just ask you to please close your eyes, and I'm gonna walk you through a visualization. Hold on 1 second. So I want you to close your eyes and just imagine your space in the space that you personally would describe as sanctuary. What's in the space? What are some of the colors that you see? What are some of the furniture that you see? If there's somewhere that you can sit, I would like for you to go walk to it. Just take a seat. I want you to just run your hands. Is it an armchair? Is it a stool? Is it a bench? What does it feel like? What color is it? What type of fabric is it? When you look around, what do you see? What are the walls color? What's the wall color? Is there any art on the wall? Any plants? Any specific decor that stands out to you? Now, when you look down, is there a rug, carpet, wood floors? So I would like for you to get up. I want you to walk over to the closest window. You could keep in mind what the window looks like. Are there curtains, shades? I want you to look out the window. When you look out the window, what do you see? What kind of landscape is out there? Is it sunny? Is it daytime? Nighttime? Do you see trees? Do you see flowers? Just take in the view. If there's something special that's sticking out to you, I want you to keep that in mind. And I want you to go back, turn around, and look at the room one more time. Just take in. And I want you to open your eyes, and you can write down anything that you have that really stuck out about the space. Any elements that were in particularly really special for you. Once you're done, you can move on to the next spin here. But to me, what you love and what you need is how you create true sanctuary. So clarifying the vision, we already talked about what we need. So emotionally, what you need is safety, security, stability, a social life, and a sense of self-fulfillment. We talked about our deep desires with the visualization practice that we just did. Our deepest desires are experiences that enrich and enhance our lifestyle, enhance our life in general. So through that visualization, you can kind of see like what your heart desires. But the last thing that we didn't touch on yet, which is a really important piece, is our core values. Our core values are our beliefs, and our beliefs help navigate our decisions. At least for the most part, sometimes we're not always able to um, make decisions solely on our values, but at the end of the day, that's what we should always consider first. So, why do our core values matter? Making decisions based on your values allows you to pick the path of least resistance. Keeping your core values as priority allows you to stay focused in a sea full of options. There's so many options. If you Google just, I want, an armchair. You're looking for an armchair. There's like a plethora of options, thousands of options. You can go through each page and you're seeing different types of armchairs. And when you stick to your core values, it really helps you to be like, okay, I need these things, and that's what I'm driving with. I'm going to go with that versus your wants and your needs. Let's stick with the core values first, and then you can use the wants and needs to help you make that decision. So it feels good to you at the end of the day. As a designer and co-creator in the process of creating a project, it's not my job to judge. I just personally need you to be honest, but I need you to be honest mostly with yourself. So what are your core values? I created these. I created a list of these words that you can use, or you can do your own research and find other values that might be more important to you. But I just want you to have an idea of like what values really are, because we don't really think about it. Like we know what we value, but it really helps if you could just pinpoint like these are the things that I value in life, you know, in my home, in my relationships. These are the things that I value. So like this, and also it changes as we grow. Like one year you might be like really like I'm really focused on efficiency. I want things to be efficient. But then you have a season in life where you're like, you know what, I'm going to be able to put efficiency away because right now my core value is frugality. Like I need to just focus on keeping things in order through saving money, finding the not the cheapest way, but what can I afford at this time? Or like another time, you might value practicality, things that are practical, and then you reach a point where you're just like, you know what, I just want things to be simple. Just want it to be simple. I don't really like just clear cut, just like this. I mean, even simplicity and practicality go hand in hand. So maybe that wasn't um, the best choice, but I think you get what I mean. And last but not least, bridging the gap. So bridging the gap is actually done through synergy. So we're going to bring the three things that we talked about together: our wants, our needs, and our values. So keeping in mind the things that you wrote down for what you need. What is a need that you're focusing on right now in your life? What is a want? What is there like a really want that you're working towards right now? And then what is a value? What are the things that you value at this time? And then you can bring it together. The synergy is the interaction or cooperation of two or more organizations, substances, and or other agents to produce a combined effort greater than the sum of their separate parts. So just simply your wants, your needs, and your values by themselves, they hold weight. But when you bring it all together, it's even more powerful. So what do you dream your home could be like? Your wants allow you allow your mind to be expanded and curious about life, to enjoy the beauty of what's available to you. Your needs provide the safety and the security you need to be able to show up fully to be your best self. Your values, they guide you in life. They guide you in the process of creating the home and life that will inspire and support you. So all of these things together are really powerful when you're able to find the way to make them work in your life. So I actually did like as you can see, I put like some examples so maybe you can have an idea of how to put these together for yourself. So let's say I value quality because I need to feel supported and therefore I want functionality. You see how that goes together? I mean, you can do it however it makes sense for you, but that is one way that it flows, right? No restriction that it all makes sense. And then the next one I put is I value reliability to feel stabilized. Therefore, I want durability. Again, it's fluid, it goes together. And just like before, I have a few journal prompts to think about in helping you to integrate these your wants, your needs, and your values. Like really help you integrate like what makes sense for you at this time. But through the lens of your child or your inner child, how would you describe your favorite part of home? So I want you to just like keep that in mind. Like just pick if you don't have a kid, like think about when you were, I don't know, a teenager. You're 13. So as the 13-year-old self in this space that you have, how would you feel? How would you describe it? Right? Like just really get into that space. So like in this current space that I'm in right now, as a 13-year-old, I could look around and go like, it's kind of small. It's a little small, but it's it's nice. There's trees outside. It's different than being in the city. I feel like I can move around here. That's a big difference between the two spaces. If you have an actual child, just think about how they are interacting with their favorite part of home, or with the place that you love. So for us, I have a 7-month old and I have a 7-year old. So if I wanted to think about in terms of my 7-month old, she's just learning how to crawl. So everything is big. You're on the floor, you're crawling around, and you're looking at things so different. I've actually been really observing how she's been interacting with things, and it's so beautiful. Like, could you imagine just being at floor level and just looking up at everything? Like, wow, it's so much. um, and the next question is, what is one thing your space has taught you? What is one thing you realize about how you relate and interact with your home, or how we, as in us in general, how we relate and interact with homes? So, kind of think about what we were just talking about this whole session. What did you realize through this? And then spring is coming, so during spring cleaning, what are 3 things that you plan to do to re-energize your space, the overall vibe of your home? These are really cool things to keep in mind to just bring a new energy into this space, one that fits your wants, your needs, your values, so that you can have your best foot forward. Thank you so much for showing up live or watching this replay. I really appreciate you being here with me. I hope you enjoyed this new perspective. Maybe it's not so new for you, but I really, um, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this workshop and to get any insights that you were looking for. So I hope to see you in the threshold. If not, I want you to take good care of yourself and do what you need to do in order to create the life that you need and you want. Bye bye.